Okay, so let's look at an example of supply and demand with LeBron James. So when he went with the Lakers, he signed his NBA contract for 4 years with the Lakers, making $154 million. That doesn't include any endorsements or bonuses or anything like that. That's just the pure basics of the contract. Well, in terms of supply and demand, why in the world does a guy like LeBron get that kind of money? Let's think about it. The supply of guys like LeBron in the NBA, very low. There's not a lot like him. But the demand, of course, everyone would love to have a LeBron caliber player on their team. Like he's won some games and won some awards. So the supply of guys like LeBron is super low, demand is high. That's why guys like him get paid a whole lot of money to do what they do and to do it well. Okay, now we're going to totally switch gears and look at some of the drawbacks of our price system of supply and demand. So, one of the things is sometimes there's not a ton of suppliers. Sometimes we have imperfect competition, which is actually what our next unit is about, where there's only a few firms that sell a product. Like, look at our mobile carriers, so where we can get our cell phone service from. There's not as many of them as there used to be when I was your age. Well, what's happened to the prices? They keep climbing, 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 climbing because we have imperfect competition. So it's not good because prices go up. Another problem is sometimes we have to pay costs even though we're not actually the supplier. And by cost, it might be like an opportunity cost. So it's a cost of production that affects us even though we have no control over the good that's being produced. Like in Burndale on a spring morning when the thaw is happening, if there's the right breeze, all of a sudden you smell the turkey barns. Now, you've maybe never worked at the turkey barns, you have nothing to do with it, but the spillover cost is you have to smell it. Or if you live near, like you live in Minneapolis and you live near the Children's Hospital or Abbott Northwestern, maybe you hear sirens all the time or the helicopters coming in. Again, you don't work there, but the spillover cost is it wakes you up at night. You have to deal with it. Or if you live on a landfill road, then all of a sudden that's a spillover cost that you're going to have rats, birds, maybe garbage that falls out of the trucks everywhere. So a spillover cost is a cost that you have to pay even though you're not actually making the product. Then there's this picture. This is another drawback of supply and demand. And this is illegal. This is called poaching. This is obviously poaching of a gorilla in Africa. And because it's illegal, when they poach the gorilla, they're going to go sell the parts of the gorilla on what's called the black market. Now, the black market isn't a place. You can't go to the internet and just search the black market and you can start buying stuff illegally. The black market is just anywhere where something is sold illegally. And so they're ignoring any government controls on price or quantity. If you may remember, like when smartphones were first coming out, they were being stolen and then resold left and right. Of course, Apple and Samsung have tried to address it, making it harder to jailbreak a phone. But when it's being resold, if it's like being resold on Craigslist, that's illegal. So like that is a black market. Or people reselling like their prescription drugs. Again, illegal, black market. You can see an example of like rhino poaching, which was driven by the Asian market because they would use the rhino's horn as like medicinal purposes. And again, when they're selling it, it's being sold illegally. So it's the black market. So that's just another drawback of our price system is sometimes we have imperfect competition. Sometimes we have costs we have to pay called spillover costs. And then black markets also can be created and happen sometimes as well.